Networking, meeting people is not just about what you can get. You have to go there and add value.
A growing health, wellness, and leadership podcast designed for you to become your most empowered self.
Great day, amazing humans. Welcome to the Empowered in My Skin podcast, where our mission is to help 1 billion people in this world think in more empowering ways. Empowered humans empower humans. So you are the right spot to become a lead domino for empowerment today. So let the show begin. Great day, amazing humans. Yes, welcome to the next guest episode. And today our guest is a powerhouse, a lawyer, media personality, author, and humanitarian whose work spans law, entertainment, and advocacy. With a career that bridges international law, immigration, and businesses, she has also graced television screens as a host and producer using storytelling to highlight culture and social issues. Beyond that, because that's not all, she's a fierce advocate for immigrant integration, women's empowerment, and child welfare, earning prestigious global recognition for humanitarian efforts. From championing the fight against female genital mutilation to supporting immigrant families adjusting to new realities, her impact is undeniable. She's also a published author, of which I have the book. I have the book. Hold on. Yes. But, oh, for those that are reading it, that are listening, we'll tell you what the book is in a minute. But there's a book. And a published author, a content creator, and a voice for the voiceless. Today, we're diving deep into her journey, how she balances law, media, and advocacy, the lessons she's learned along the way, and her mission to create a meaningful change. So, Empower My Skin podcast community, put your ears, your hands, and everything together for this amazing human champion, Ariyike Akinbobola. What?
Thank
How are you
you.
doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
You
Thank
know,
you.
from when I met you to where you are now, I love, one of my favorite words that I love is awe.
Aw.
Yeah, awe. Awe is one of my favorite words because I think it's such a magical, feeling. Like when you're in awe of somebody, it's just I like and it's funny because there's just so much more left for you to accomplish and do in this world. And yeah, just it's great. So I get to dive in a little bit. So for listeners, she and I have done an impact. We've done a different type of episode. I think we were more conversational. I think you might have been interviewing me because you were subbing in for Gabby. Remember that?
Yes, I remember. I
And I
remember.
was just like, this girl's been on the rise, man. And I think I reached out to him like there's something special about what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you're making it happen that needs to, like, you got to figure that out because I want to have an interview about that. Right. And so today we get to figure out some of your ticks and trips and ticks tips and tricks
Tips and tricks.
tips and tricks that you have in your toolkit. So my first question I ask every guest: what was your most empowering thought of the day so far? And I know it's been a day for you. So been your most empowering thought?
Okay, that's a very important question, most especially on a day like today, because you know
Yep.
how today has been.
Yeah.
I would say my most empowering thought, maybe not most empowering thought, maybe the one thing I've looked forward to the whole day
Mhm.
would be talking to you today to get my mind off how
I'm a thought. I'm a thought. I would be like, my
how
most
good
empowering thought of the day was in Kichi.
yes, how great in quotes the day has been. So I would say Nkechi has been my most empowering thoughts of the day.
I've never, in 300 and something episodes, I've never had that before, but I'll take it. I'll take it.
Take it,
I'll
take it,
take
take it.
it. I'll
Thank
take it. So, interestingly enough, and like the team did some research, so we'll kind of go in. But something was really intriguing that when you filled out the form that I noticed, and because networking, I'm such an advocate for helping people network, because it is your network is your net worth, and
Yeah.
I truly do believe, like, if you don't make it a thing and it's just something that you recognize as humans, we're constantly transmitting. But I want to actually hear from you, because I think you have conquered networking. Like, I think that when I watch you, I'm like, there's like every minute I'm like, now she's on TV, and how does she get her own show, and she has like publishing a book and a tour in Canada, and like so that requires that skill.
Yeah.
And so would love, so as a really opening question, I'm just going to go in, right? I'm just really curious, like like, the importance of networking, especially with everything that you're doing and accomplishing. It's got to be first, like, tantamount to your toolkit. So, like, how do you how do you do it, and how do you approach it? Like, what does it mean to you? And what can you share with the listeners
Okay.
about, to share that it's done right?
Okay. Awesome question. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
You see, the thing, this is a question that people ask me a lot when they meet me in person, and they're like, "Come on, how are you able to just walk into a room and just be that girl?" In quote. Um, I always just attribute it to my personality as
Mhm.
a friendly person. I'm actually friendly. I don't have too many friends, but I am friendly. Like, I would
Mhm.
walk into a place and have good conversations with everybody that comes my way. Now, I find that people do networking wrongly, and some people think that they're networking, but they're just users. Um,
Mhm.
people don't. A lot of people don't understand what it is to build a relationship and sustain that relationship. And with me, when it comes to networking, I do not just go out there to say, "Hey, I want to meet 100 people or 50 people." I'm very intentional about the people that I want to meet. So if I go to an event and there maybe 10 guest speakers or 5 guest speakers, I already know who I want to meet there. It could be one person or 2 people. And there's a reason why I want to meet that person. And when I meet the person, I'm not just going to come from a place of, "Oh, hi, I've always wanted to meet you. Do. Oh, I want you to do this for me. I want you to do that for me." I spend time in building that relationship, which is the mistake that people don't make, and that makes them appear to be users. I
Mhm.
Moving to Canada, I realized something. I realized that people that want to meet me are shameless about wanting to meet me. They're relentless. They reach out to me, send me DMs, send me messages on LinkedIn, Instagram, and things like that. And then at a point in my life, I found out that I was actually only I was moving around the people that wanted to meet me. I wasn't
Mm.
aspiring to meet the people that I wanted to meet.
Mhm.
So I took a step back and I started to do my research and look for the people that I wanted to meet. And then I started
Yeah.
to reach out to them. And you obviously were one of those people. And look at us now.
Yes, look at us
Yeah,
now. Wow. You
yeah.
know,
So
yeah.
so in
I was gonna say
networking,
valuable, like, so I love what you just said just there, because it actually made me stand up a bit, because I realized that a lot of the networking I do, like, if I think about this week and I think about, like, on Wednesday, I had back to back to back. I had one yesterday. I had one yesterday evening. Um, the evening one would have been the only one this week that it was someone who I was more purpose, like, it was more about expanding my network. The other ones, I like how you classified, because I was thinking I'm networking.
right,
They
right,
are people that want to meet me. And while I'm networking with them, because it is true, because it is a mutual exchange, right?
right.
I got to meet them. I didn't pick them.
They
And I
picked
think
you.
that, yeah, they picked me. And so I would say, if I kind of think about it, especially in the last year, um, I have I have networked more with people that picked me than me sort of saying that in this year, these are all the people I want to meet. So I actually just want to let you know, you just schooled me.
I love that. I love that. And it's
And
true because
go on.
yeah, it's true because we find that the people who want to meet us, they're very shameless about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
they would do everything that they need to do to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that they meet you or reach you, or reach out to somebody who knows you to make sure that you notice them. But a lot of times the people that you want to meet, you see them from a distance and you're like, oh, I would love to meet that person. But a lot of times you don't take the step in the direction to actually meet the person.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that a lot of times that I have actually gone in that direction to try to meet that person, I found that the person actually wanted to meet me too. So it
Mm-hmm.
was so it became a mutual thing where even though they didn't know me, because of the value that I brought to the person's life, they were
Mm-hmm.
happy that I actually came into their life. So networking, meeting people is not just about what you can get. You have to go there and add value. Like
Yes.
people just come and they're like, oh, can you do this for me? Oh, I want you to do that. I want you to do that. And a lot of times, like, you're like, you haven't even said hi to me in the last 3 months. And you're coming here.
Interestingly, I'm going to put a friend of mine on blast. Like, you should have seen this text message. So, this friend of mine who I haven't spoken to in a while. Like, if I look at the text message, I think the last time they texted me was like in 2024. And so they have no, like, obviously, I don't know what's happening in their life. They have no idea what's happening in my life. They just sent me a note and it was like one sentence and it said, can you introduce me to this person? So,
Boom, boom.
and they're probably listening to this podcast. So, yes, I'm putting y'all on, I'm not putting your name out, but I'm putting you on blast. And so it's too funny because what did I say? I said, hold on, I have to leave. So I had to say, um, I said, oh, great day, person's name. We don't say hello these days. And I just and I said, how awesome are you doing? I'm well. Thank you for asking. And I was like, and then that was yesterday. And then today they responded again. They like, hello. They said, oh, I'm so sorry. And then they
Uh-huh.
said, and then they went on and explained why they reached out. And I said, yet still, no great morning, Inc. Hey
Right.
girl, no greeting, just blam.
That's it. Bam.
They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. How awesome have you been? Because so actually, I think that's a product of, and now now we're taking this, we'll close on this, but I think that's a product sometimes of like, we network, like, I think you talked about, like, you have to also cultivate the relationship.
Cultivate the relationship.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Sustain it.
Otherwise, it does actually just come like that. Like, you tend to reach out to your network when you are in a point of desperation,
Right.
right? And
And
then
it doesn't make you look good.
yeah, exactly. It's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Nah, 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 nah.
So
It's not.
So let's talk about it. Like, so such a dynamic career. In fact, I do have a question for you because I learned through some this research, and I've known you for 3 years or something, 4 years, four
Right.
years
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
About 4, yes.
I do want to talk a little bit about the work that you've done around female genital mutilation, and so really interested to dive into that later on. But you've had such a dynamic career, and starting as a lawyer in Nigeria, transitioning into media and entertainment, and now working in business immigration in Canada. So, what can you say has been your biggest lesson, like, navigating these different industries, different and cultures?
I would say my biggest lesson would be just learning about people because every career that I've been that I've had has had to do with working directly with people.
Mhm.
And I found that people, regardless of whether they're C-suite executives, the VIP clients that I work with, or the celebrities that I interviewed when I was in Nigeria, these people, everyone is just human. The
Mm,
way
mm,
people put people on a pedestal and say, oh, this person is, this person or this person is too big or whatever, I find that my greatest lesson has been in just humanizing people,
mhm,
regardless of who they are or where they've come from. because I've had to interact with them on different levels, on levels of people being celebrities, on the level of people who are getting their work permits to move to a different country to go and work. And I find that, people are just people. Some of the people that you would expect to be nasty, who are, people who are very rich, or the celebrities, they're the sweetest ones. And then the people that you would expect to be able to even come to your level and just relate to you one-on-one, they're the ones who sometimes are, hardest to work with, or, hard to work with. So I would say that, my biggest lesson would be in dealing with different people from all walks of life. Give me the most complicated person, I would work with the person. And, person is not going to get a bad side of me to come out. I will work with the person accordingly. Give me the nicest person, sweetest person. I know how to work with the person. So I would say the different careers that I've had have made me know and understand how to communicate with people from all walks of life. And the work that I've done has also made me realize that communication is not a one-way street. You cannot communicate with everyone the same way. You communicate with people differently because of their background, the culture, where they come from, or the work that they're doing, even if they work in the same organization. So human beings are different, and you have to know how to work with them accordingly. I would say that's been my biggest lesson.
So, but I have to just say, because being Nigerian, like born here in Canada, but typically, like, my parents kind of raised my brother and I like we were in Nigeria, to be quite honest. Like, my friends would come by, it wasn't pizza and all, it was fufu and pepper soup and the poor bums were burning, and the only thing they didn't try to do is speak to them in Igbo, but but anyway, so kind of grew up a lot around the culture. The only reason I don't speak the language is because they had a bad experience with my brother, because he learned Igbo in Canada before he learned English, and then he couldn't communicate when their parents weren't around. So they're like, okay, maybe. So I lost. Yeah. So I was like, I want to learn Igbo. Anyway, I digress. But man, I'm sorry. Igbos are no, Nigerians are very different than Canadians. So I know you say people are people, but more so, how was the transition? Like, what was the experience? Like, Nigeria is the sixth most populous country in the world, right? And then we also know that outside of the country itself, which is about 270 now, is that what it is? Yeah.
I think we should be up to 300.
Okay, 300 million. Just for everyone that's wondering, is it 270 people? No, 300
I feel like we should be in the threes.
300 million people. So Nigerians are everywhere, truth be told. Like, at least you're gonna find one somewhere wherever you go. But But that said, did Canada feel small or big, or like what? How did Canada feel in comparison?
Okay, so in comparison to Nigeria, how did Canada feel when I just got to Canada? I would say strange.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Strange. Yes. I wouldn't use the word small or big, or like bigger or smaller than Nigeria. It just felt strange. Strange because I have traveled to a lot of different countries. I had traveled before I moved to Canada. Well, I had never been to Canada before I moved here. First time coming, and it was a straight move. So it felt very strange because Canada is close to the US. I had anticipated that Canada would be very similar to the US in terms of even the sizes of the houses. I thought Canada was just like Yankee. So I was like, oh, pretty similar. Yeah, big deal.
Especially now. Sorry.
Especially now.
Yeah, let's not go there on this podcast.
No. We're not going to that. And then I'm like, so, and I'm trying very hard I'm trying not to use certain words, but certain words might come out, and I apologize in advance to anybody who may feel offended. But I felt as if, hmm, okay, so I don't want to say,
No, please. I'm Canadian. I'm not
I,
offended.
I don't want to say, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I thought that Canada was very similar to the US. Let me put it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I came here and, I saw that it was still a growing country,
Yes.
growing in
Yeah.
terms of everything, even in terms of infrastructure, buildings, and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I never thought Canada was like this. Honestly,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
didn't
not
think Canada.
offensive.
Yeah.
That's
So
not offensive. That's not offensive. Yeah, no,
yeah.
no, I can see that. I can see that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So compared to where I was coming from,
Hmm. Yeah. Oh
Lagos
gosh.
is Lagos is like New York, kind
Yeah,
of.
I know. It makes
Lagos
Canada
is
look quiet. Yeah.
hustling and there's a hustle and bustle. Like you you're driving. There are like a million cars on the road.
And
There people
animals.
are horning. So there's chaos.
Yeah.
But, but even regardless of the chaos, it's still good chaos because I mean I enjoyed living in Lagos. So I expected a certain type of vibe when I moved here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then compared to that, it was just very
Quiet.
quiet,
Yeah.
very serene. I mean, it's good. Being serene
Yeah.
is
Yeah. It's just
when you're coming
different.
from chaos
Yeah.
and you come in
It's
a place and you're like, wait.
it's very different. It's
It
very
takes
different.
time.
Yeah,
It
it
takes
takes time.
time for you to adjust to the,
Hmm.
to the normalcy and to
Yeah.
to the calmness.
Yeah.
So I didn't think Canada was like this calm and this
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. So let's
and
talk about your
developing.
and
I didn't
developing.
think it was
Anyway.
still developing, but
Yes.
they're
Yes.
still
Yeah.
building houses and things
Yeah.
like that, which is good.
And still, we have a lot of landmass, a lot of yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of space to
a
cover.
lot.
So your latest book, One Way Ticket to Canada, explores
Mhm.
the diaspora experience, which I love. What inspired you to write this, and what do you hope, like leaders, especially immigrants, take away from it?
Okay, thanks for that question. So the whole essence of the book is for newcomers to read and have a sense of understanding as to what Canada is like from my perspective and from the perspectives of the other people who contributed to the book. The other, because I shared some
Yes.
stories. I shared
Yeah.
stories of immigrants. Some were real, some were fiction, some were nonfiction, and you have to read the book to understand what we're talking about here. But I was very intentional about not disclosing which of the stories were not real because I wanted people to
Hmm.
just read the book and just have a whole sense of the immigrant journey as to what people go through when they move abroad, most
Hmm.
especially people who move as adult immigrants.
Hmm.
It's different when you move here for school as a student and you have your parents funding your education and things like that, or when you move here as a child who is accompanying their parents. It's different from when you are the parents and you're coming here
Hmm.
to pretty much a new country to start all over again in terms of building those relationships that you want to grow in a new country. I always say this when I go to Nigeria, I like when I go to Nigeria, I can get to Nigeria today and be out this night because
Yes.
it's like easy for me. I still have my best friends in Nigeria. I have my mom in Nigeria. I have my brothers. I have family in Nigeria.
Hmm.
But moving
Hmm.
to a country where you don't really know people, and then this is going to be home for the next couple of
A
years.
foreseeable
It
future. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't have a book like this to read. So
Yeah.
it's a gift from me to immigrants for them to, buy. And
Hmm.
I said it's a gift for they're gonna buy, but yeah, support my hustle.
No, but I get what you mean. You could buy gifts. You could buy
Yeah,
gifts. Yeah, you buy gifts. You didn't say
no,
you're
no, no.
giving it
I'm
away
saying
for
like
free,
it's a
no?
gift. It's a gift from me, like,
Yes, yeah, and they're
like
buying your book.
for
Yes,
my
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
So it's a book where I just want people to read, and it's not only for newcomers. Some people have been in this country for a couple of years, and they still don't know how to navigate, situations and things about Canada. So from my own experience, I shared how I was able to just get to where I am today. And,
Mhm.
it's still an ongoing journey. Who knows?
Yeah.
There may be another one way to get to Canada part 2 tomorrow. The
I
story
love it. On
continues.
And your chapter around cultivating friendships and in adulthood and building the community, and kind of what we were talking about before about people are people. I love what you said. It almost feels like we're all jambites or freshmen
Yeah.
again, starting a new
Yeah.
phase of life together as new immigrants. With so many different personalities and character traits, you'll quickly realize that without clear boundaries, you could easily find yourself in a pot of hot pepper soup.
Pepper soup.
Thankfully, that has what's up with Nigerians and pepper soup? But thankfully, that has not been the case with my connections, as I have emotional intelligence and a clear
Mm.
understanding of how to manage relationships with humans of all ages. And so, indirectly, you're suggesting like that's really what it is, right? Like humans are humans, you're a human yourself, and you've navigated this journey so beautifully. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for gifting the world, I'm gonna say, and leaving your legacy. It's not your only book. You
It's
have
not.
written some children's books, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I have two other books, beautifully colored, a children's book on kindness, diversity, inclusion, and positive affirmations. And that one has become an Amazon bestseller multiple times. And it's a book that I also wrote because I moved here and I was looking for books about diversity and inclusion to teach my children about the different people who the kids from different backgrounds who were in their
Backgrounds.
classes because they moved to Canada and then they were the only Black kids in their classes. So I just wanted them to read a book or just see pictures just to make them understand that regardless of where you come from, you're beautifully colored. And I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
finding any books. And you know what they say about books? Like if you're looking for a book that you can't, if you're looking for a book and you can't find it, why not just write it? So that was why I wrote the
Yeah.
book. And
Yeah.
the book has just it blew up even beyond my own imagination. Like a lot of
Imagination.
people, but the book, it's just a very small book, very simple. It didn't take me too much effort to write, but it's done really, really well. It's done really
Wow.
well. Mhm.
So as I mentioned at the start, I really want to just dive into some of the work you've done around and where you've been recognized around advocating for or against, I guess, female genital mutilation and your efforts in supporting disadvantaged communities. So, I mean, on both of those fronts, it's not easy work. So, one, why female genital mutilation for one? Because this is new territory for me learning about you. And what really, like, what drives your passion for this level and the depth of advocacy that you go to?
Okay, thanks for that. So when I worked on TV,
You're thanking me for
um,
everything. I
when
love
I
you.
have to thank you because I mean
It's okay.
bringing me here is such a big deal. So thank you for that as well. So thank you. So you're going to hear a lot of thank yous tonight. Get ready. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, back to the question. So I have always done, advocacy with everything and anything that has to do with children, most especially the girl child. And when I lived in Nigeria, I hosted an event called Meets Media where we had it was a media event where media personalities would come every month. And then I would have a fireside chat with one celebrity and would recognize the celebrity and then, just do a lot of PR for that person. So it was every month we had like different Nigerian celebrities come on. And then this particular month, we didn't have a celebrity because we were recognizing female genital mutilation, the things that had been going on in Nigeria with regards to female genital mutilation. I didn't know much about FGM. I just, heard about it in passing. And you know how sometimes when something doesn't directly concern you, you
Mm,
really don't even spend time learning about it.
hmm
But because I was going to interview people who were working on the campaign, I had to do my
hmm
research. And I
hmm
started to read about female genital mutilation, which
hmm
has to do with cutting
hmm
of the girl. Yeah, I know the
hmm
details to
hmm
TMI. And then I found out that my state, where I'm from, which is Osun State, had one of the highest prevalency rates. I had actually thought that it was something that happened in another region of
hmm
Nigeria. I didn't know
hmm
that, the western part of Nigeria was part of the still, doing part the practice. And that also that just piqued my interest, and I started to do more research.
Mm.
And when the team came and we, asked questions and we put the spotlight on them, it was a campaign that UNICEF was working on, which was called End Cutting Girls. And they were doing
Mm.
something called the Frown Challenge, where they needed people to frown
Mm.
against female genital mutilation. And they needed a lot of people to frown against it, just to show that, to advocate
Yeah,
against
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Um, so I told them I wanted to join the campaign because it was something that just I felt greatly connected to it, because it's something that affects the girl child. And in doing my research, one of the things I found out was that it has no benefits to the girl child. So why were parents doing that to the daughters when it had no health benefits? Instead, it causes complications for the girl child.
Mm.
So I wanted my voice to be heard. And because I worked on TV, it was easy for me to get radio interviews or, get featured
Mm.
to talk about it. So I told them that I would work on the campaign. And because I joined the campaign, I was able to spread the word about
Mm.
female genital mutilation abandonment. And
Mm.
I also went to where I'm from, which is Iwo in Osun State, and I met with the king, who is a very, very close family friend to my family, and he's like a father to us. And I told him what was going on, and he used to live in Canada before, so he's very,
Mm.
he's very educated and enlightened. And he also did the frown challenge thing to,
Mm.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
spoke with people there and told them that if they're still practicing this, then they need to stop female
Mm.
genital mutilation. And you know how it is, it's easier for people, in people from our hometowns to listen to the king
Yes.
than
Yeah.
for one Ariyike to come and say, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So he was very helpful. And then the other people I was working with, they also got people in their communities to talk about the dangers of female genital mutilation. And
Mm.
because of the work that we did, I was awarded. I got an award. I got a Frown Award.
Okay. That's where it
Yeah,
came from.
a Frown Award for the
Uh,
advocacy work that I did. And it's sometimes you don't even feel as if you're doing much, but
mm.
because of how you're talking about something, people are going to hear, and then just because
Yeah.
they heard you say that, then they're going to make sure that their daughters don't
Yeah.
become victims or survivors of female
Yeah.
genital mutilation. I remember back
Yeah.
then a lot of people would reach out to me on Instagram and say, hey, my mother-in-law, I just had a daughter, my mother-in-law wants to take her and go and circumcise her, but because I've been watching what you guys are doing, I'm going to put my foot down and make sure that they don't do this to my
Well,
daughter.
yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
talking about educated people whose
Yeah.
husbands are like bankers, and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, good. I mean, that's some really great work. And so I commend
Mhm.
you. I
Thank you.
commend
And,
you.
and I reached out to because they have a female genital mutilation abandonment organization here in Canada. And I did
Mm.
reach out to them to meet with them, but we've not been able to meet. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do work with them once
Wow.
we meet. Yes.
I love it. I
Yes,
love
because I
it.
sent them my profile, told them what I had done, and they replied me, and they were very happy that they were happy to connect. So we're going to connect soon, because I have seen the survivors. I've spoken with survivors of female genital mutilation. They joined the campaign with us, and
Mm.
it's a different thing to talk about something when you don't have a face to.
Right. Right.
Yes, but I've seen faces. I've seen people. I know people who they're
So you
survivors.
feel so you feel it. You feel it.
So I feel it, yes,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
know them directly.
Yeah. Yeah. Good on you. Really. Honestly. Honestly.
Thank you.
Flowers. I give you flowers.
Thank
So
you.
now I mean, there's so much more that I could talk to you about. But I want to perhaps bring you back again. So I'm
Please, I
gonna
would
take
love to
you,
be back.
yeah, so I'm gonna take you through what we call a rapid thrivers. And so when you think of, so number one, when you think of someone who inspires you, who comes first to mind?
Do I have to give like a quick answer? Is it one of those quick answer things, or I
You
can
can tell
think?
me who, and you can get and give me why. Yeah,
Does it
I'm
have
okay
to
with
be
it.
just one person, or can it
No,
be?
there's
It
no
could be.
rules to this. Right,
Okay,
write
so
your own rules.
I love Oprah Winfrey. She
Okay.
inspires me a lot.
Uh-huh.
Regardless of everything she's been through, she's been able to build her empire,
Hmm.
and she continues to touch lives positively and just, shine the light on other people to share their stories.
Hmm.
So watching her is a huge inspiration for me, and I hope to meet her one day. I actually sent
Hmm.
my book to her. I sent one of
Okay.
my, so talking about networking.
Yes, yes, there you go. I love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. You're the
Yes,
queen.
I sent one of my books to her when David Oyelowo, the actor, when he came to Nigeria. I met him and I gave him my books, and I, signed one for Oprah because I know they're very close, and he said he would get it across to her. So I don't know if she
Hmm.
ever got it. But yes, I reached out to her book club as well. I reached out a few times, and I know that I would definitely get to
Yeah,
meet
keep
her.
going. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's one person. That's
Did you want to give
one
me another?
person. Yes, of course. That's one person that inspires me that doesn't know me yet. Um,
Yes.
and my mom also inspires me. And one of the reasons why I'm putting her name out there is because I mean she raised six of us, six children, 4 boys and 2 girls, raised all of us, and she's a pharmacist. She's going to be 80 this year by God's grace. And then she also had to stay with my dad. My dad had Parkinson's disease for 15
Mm,
years. And, just watching how my mom took care of him, how
mm,
she never abandoned him or, made him
mm,
feel like he was sick, and
mm,
having to raise all of us as well with a father who had Parkinson's and who, who my dad had a huge sense of humor. And even when he was sick, he was still very funny. Like he would still make us laugh. And regardless of what he was going through and all that, he would still bring joy. And my mom, on the other hand, would always just still be there to do everything and anything for him,
mm,
even though she was going old as well. And
mhm,
of course, we were there to support while we were in the house as well. So just watching her navigate everything that she's been through in life, everything life has thrown at her. She's still always very positive, always
yeah,
looking for how to help other people, how to just, put smiles on the faces of other widows. Because she has a group of like 30 widows that she
mhm.
helps out in her village where she's from,
Wow,
Ile. She's from the royal family there. So she has like people that she empowers, women that she empowers and things like that. And she still does it so
wow,
gracefully. So two.
wow.
Number three, hmm, the woman on this podcast right here, the
Lord
red.
Jesus.
Hey, this woman, in fact, I feel like getting up to go and bring the pot of flowers behind me to say, take your flowers, mama. Take it, take it. So you, of course, definitely, and you know that because I always tell you, I watch you, I see all that you do, I see how you are always so welcoming, how you you look at people who are in your position and there's no access. People don't give access, but you give access, and you not only give access and you also ensure that your tribe is good. Like you look out for everybody. You want to make sure that everyone is good. I remember when I don't know what cohort I was in your
Mhm,
empowered in my skin. I
mhm.
think we're cohort 3 or 4. The COVID
Yeah,
cohort.
I
The
can't remember.
COVID cohort.
Are you on the picture?
we
No,
were
you weren't.
we were doing the pandemic, so no, I think we were the ones after. We were
No,
after
no,
the one,
that picture was pandemic.
the
I have to go
Zoom.
back and look. Yeah, it was with
Is it the
Chidima.
Zoom? The
Yeah, it
Zoom.
was Zoom. It was Zoom.
If if
Was Chidima in that group?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm not sure.
Temmie was Temmie?
No, she wasn't.
Okay,
So
then
that
you
was
were
probably
number. You were
before us.
two. You were
Yeah,
two.
we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
two.
Okay,
Yeah, they were
okay,
the ones
yeah,
before us.
yeah,
Yeah, those are our seniors.
yeah, yeah. They
Those
gave
are
you
our
a nice,
seniors.
beautiful picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So you, and I told you something. I said, just join in. And shout out to Shade Ladipo. Love, love, love Shade.
Love.
Shade, as in case she will say Shade. I love me some Shade. Because Shade was the one, Shade was the one that, she plugged me right in. So that was a life changer for me, because it just like joining your sessions, and then you bring in all those inspirational people to also talk to us, was a confidence booster for me, who was a new immigrant then, and just trying to navigate my way in Canada. So thank you for that. You inspire me, and you inspire me a great deal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you're that
Likewise.
woman that, yeah, I watch you, I look at you, and I see that anything is possible when I see you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
that
feel like it's
anything is
turned.
possible.
I'm watching you now, and I'm like,
Anything
okay,
is
I got to step
possible.
up my game. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. So,
Problem.
what is a daily activity that helps you with your thrive?
Okay, so daily activity that helps me with my thrive. I wake up early.
Okay.
I'm up by 5, sometimes 5:30, say my prayers, breathe, do my breathing exercises. I breathe, breathe, breathe. And start my day. And the beautiful thing about this country is that I feel as if time doesn't move. Time doesn't move
Wow.
quickly in Canada. Honestly, if you've lived in Lagos, even when I went to Nigeria in January, you wake up in the morning, you're like,
You're like,
but
it's frantic.
honestly, in Canada, I feel as if I have my 24 hours.
Wow.
And I'm not up for 24 hours, obviously,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
I can plan my day. Like my whole day, I can have as many hours to do things I want to do. Unlike when I lived in Nigeria, where it was in Nigeria, sometimes I felt as if I was playing catch up, like because you're trying to get somewhere, you're in traffic for 3 hours or 2 hours. You have 5 things on your to-do list, you're only able to do 2. But in
Yeah. Yeah.
Canada, if I have 10 things on my to-do list, I would do everything,
Wow.
and
We
I'll
need to
still have
talk
time.
because that ain't my life.
I
That ain't my life. I feel like my life is the way you described it. I live in Lagos.
Maybe you need to live in Lagos.
Maybe
You
I
need
need to go and then come
to.
back, and then it's just sort of like if you've ever worked at IBM, like IBM, I worked for IBM Canada, right?
Okay.
My gosh, after you work for IBM, there's no company that gives you as much work as you have at IBM. Like that's what you're describing, right? Like IBM introduced me to like being able to manage big capacity, right? Like, and so much so, like when I joined the next organization, I remember on Fridays I would go into the office and the parking lot was empty. I'm like, where are the
Where's
humans? Like,
everyone?
where's IBM used to still be there like 5, 6 o'clock on a Friday. But anyway, yeah. So I get that. I
I
get
think
that.
that's similar to me as well, because my first job in Canada was EY, Ernst and Young,
Oh,
and they
EY. There you go. Another, yeah. What's that
I
other one in
I
it's another
had
big training school one in the US that people talk about. Like if you get through it, you're good.
mm-hmm. You're good, yeah.
The CEO of Red Lobster, the Nigerian guy, he went
The
there.
Nigerian guy, the young guy.
Yeah, he
Okay.
worked there. He worked there. It's what's a big firm? Oh gosh.
We go. It's not coming to mind. It's not
Okay,
coming.
anyway, yeah. So there's a big
Yeah. So I
firm.
mean, for
It's
me, the EY that I worked at, I think that trained me. That with that, I'm like, yo, you can
yes.
do
You
anything.
can do anything. Right,
You can
right,
take on
right, right.
anything. Yeah.
Right, right.
So yeah. So waking up
What
early and just starting my day. Yeah. It's and
what is a book?
I
Oh,
write as well. Nkechi, I write.
I
I
know you
journal.
do.
Yes,
Yes.
I journal. Like I write my thoughts. I just look at me. I have a pencil here. I always have a pencil or a
Something
pen.
writing.
Yes,
Yes.
and I just write, because I feel like
Yes.
that helps me as well.
Yeah, I love journaling. I love journaling. What is a book that's helped you with your thrive?
Hmm. A book that has helped me with my thrive. To be honest, to be
No,
honest,
I want you to lie.
no, I'm not gonna lie. Why would
No, I
I?
know. You're just saying to me.
I think one of the books that I read that really kind of shaped me would be is it the 50 Laws of Power? Is it that?
50 Laws of
The
Power. Let me check. And by the way,
Yes.
the Goldman Sachs. If you work at
Goldman
Goldman Sachs,
Sachs. Yes,
yeah, if you
yes,
worked at
yes.
Goldman Sachs, then you could work, apparently you could work anywhere. Yeah, yeah. 50, what did you call it? 50?
Laws of Power, a book that I read.
Okay.
Yes, I read
Yeah,
it.
yeah, 50 Laws
Read
of
it in
Power.
early.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and it teaches you about life. It teaches you about leadership. It teaches you
40,
about how
48
to
Laws of Power.
40 laws of power. Yes,
Yeah,
40
yeah.
laws of power. I must have
48,
added like 10.
48, 48
40,
Laws
yeah,
of Power.
40,
Robert
yes.
Greene. Yeah,
I read
okay.
it a long time ago and it has stuck in my head.
Okay,
You
okay.
know, yes.
I'll put it
So
in the
that
show notes.
yes, that book. And then John Grisham novels. I'm such a John
Wow.
Grisham fan, the
Is he still
first.
writing? Of course he's
No,
still writing.
I have all the old books. I don't know if there are any new books. If there I should check because if there are new books, I would love to read.
Yeah,
If there are new
I've
books.
not written one of his books. I've watched all the movies, but I haven't written. I
Oh
used to
my.
love John Grisham. The other author I used to love when I read nonfiction was J.D. Robb. And
Oh
she
no, I
used
don't.
to write under Nora Robb.
Okay.
So JD
Oh,
Robb,
okay.
and then she had a series with Eve and Rourke. Oh my gosh, that was the
Okay.
best. That was the best. What is an
And
app that
I
helps you?
also
Oh, oh,
sorry, I wanted
no
to
rapid thrivers with you.
I want I wanted to add this one because I mean we were at her event
Oh, Bozoma,
recently.
Urgent
Yeah,
Life,
Bozoma's book as well.
Urgent
Yes.
Living. Yeah,
Urgent Life. I read
yeah,
that book. I liked it. I read it
yeah.
long before I even met her. I
Yeah,
liked
it's
it. And
interesting because I never read the book, but I've listened to so much like episodes, talks she's done.
mm,
I should read the book,
you should.
but
Yeah, it's a
I've
good book
listened to
to
her.
read.
I listened to so much work that
It's
she
a
did
book.
on the
It's a
book.
good
Yeah,
book because
yeah.
it also teaches you how to live intentionally, which
Mm,
I'm very big on that. I've always,
hmm.
been intentional about how I live my life.
Okay, I gotta get that
So
one. Yeah, I'll get it.
yeah,
I'll get it.
yeah.
What is an app that helps you with your Thrive?
Speechify. I love Speechify.
Tell me more.
Speechify is an app that reads to you. It
Hmm.
reads whatever document or book it is to you. So when I have like articles and stuff that I need to read, I just put it in Speechify and it reads to me and it reads in different voices. You can
Hmm.
choose, yes, you can choose. I do the paid version and the paid version can give you different voices. You even have Snoop Dogg's voice. You have some
So
good
you can upload books to it, or you can upload. Well, you'd have to have the PDF of the book, I'm
PDF,
assuming.
yes. Anything that is
Okay.
any PDF or Word document, you can upload it and then
Speechify.
it will
Okay.
read to Speechify, yes.
Okay. Let me give you a new one because since you like it. So I recognize that I used to be an avid reader, could read. And then all of a sudden I was like, why is it taking me so long to get through a book? Literally, like 2024. But I needed to do it for 2024. But still, I'm just gonna share. I read The Untethered Soul for a second time, and I swear
Okay.
I read it like a chapter a month, and but it was very timely because I was actually now doing the work. Like I get stuck in doing the work. Like I find that as I'm writing, I'm thinking like something I'm writing makes me come up with a speech or something like that. But sometimes it's just like my attention goes somewhere else. So I was like, what was I? Why? Like anyway. So there's this app called Notebook LM.
Notebook LM.
Notebook LM, and what you could do is you could put any PDF, you could put documents, articles in there, and it summarizes it for you for one. It's an AI. It's obviously and it creates a podcast for you.
Really?
So I recognize that my best learning is interviews. Like I love listening to podcast interviews. Like if I love somebody like like Oprah or like Sarah Jakes or whatever, I actually more so search interviews because I want to hear how they think, how they articulate their thoughts and stuff like that. And so that's kind of even as a speaker, that was one of the things I was taught earlier on is find those orators that speak well. And then after I said, let me also listen to how they interview,
Right, right.
And yeah, anyway, so I love this app. It's great. And it literally it doesn't go beyond you still need to fact check, but it doesn't go beyond the article. and it's two people, and they're talking about the article. It's crazy.
Love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing.
I'm definitely going to check it out.
Yeah, it's
Notebook
amazing.
LM.
Yeah, Notebook LM. So we are so over because I said this was gonna remember I told you I was gonna have you out in 30 minutes. We're at like 49. So this is the last question, last rapid fire. So as people see you in your thrive, right? Knocking on the doors, creating these great networks, writing these books and just advocating loud, what's one misconception that people have of you?
One misconception. Maybe people think I do too much. I don't
Mm,
know. I would feel maybe some people will feel like who does she think she is and why is she doing
mm,
so much or doing too much?
mm.
Yeah, so I would think it would be that. I would
Okay.
say yes.
Well, this is what I say. For anyone that tells you you're too much, just tell them to go and get less. So, so where do we find more of you online? Truth in. Just tell them go and get less.
I love
Yes,
that.
ma'am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So where do we find more of you online?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, so I have a website,
Yes.
ariyike.com.
Mm-hmm.
So they can check out my website. Yeah, I think
And you can get everything linked from the
yes,
website.
my
Yes. And I
but please, right now it's under construction.
okay.
So if they check now, it might not work. But yes, I'm
Okay.
I'm
So I
working
will
on
add
it
all of your other
every
links
care.
as
So please
well.
add all of my
Okay.
social media platforms,
Yeah,
my
it doesn't
LinkedIn,
work. It doesn't work.
LinkedIn. It doesn't work. It's gone off.
No. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I checked it some days ago and I saw it went off. So I already told the person who worked on it. So
Who's
they're
working
working.
on it? Okay. Okay. And
So LinkedIn Ariyike Akinbobola, Instagram at Lady Ariyike, Ariyike Weekly on YouTube, and Twitter X Lady Ariyike.
okay. Okay. We will get them all up there. And so as a final question, this podcast is called Empowered in My Skin, and I want to know what that means to you.
Empowered in my skin means being authentic, staying true to who you are, being the best version of yourself, being intentional, being connected to your being, to yourself, to who you are, being self-aware, being being a go-getter,
Mm,
most especially as a woman,
mm-hmm,
because when we talk about being empowered in our skin, I don't know why men don't come to mind. I feel
mm,
like us
mm,
women, we have this
mm,
sisterhood, we have this thing about us where we continue to learn,
mm,
whether it has to do with our relationships,
mm,
marriages, motherhood,
mm,
professional life. We are
mm,
constantly learning. So empowered in my skin just radiates growth,
mm.
growth.
I
So
love it.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for sharing energy. Thank you for being my girlfriend.
Thank
Because there
you.
was a time when we weren't friends, and I'm really happy that we have blossomed into this really special relationship. I too don't have a lot of close friends. I do consider you in my circle. So thank you,
Love
Arike.
that.
And
You're in my circle too.
yeah.
My sister.
And I love you dearly.
I love
And to everyone that's listening, I trust you're feeling way more empowered in your skin. But sadly, this is where I have to say, we're out.
you. Love
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
There you have it. I trust that you're feeling more empowered in your skin. And as the late Dr. Maya Angelou says, when you get, you give, when you learn, you teach. So it would mean so much for us at EIMS if you share this episode and tag us or teach an insight that you learned from today's episode on your socials and tag us. And remember to go over onto iTunes and leave us a review or follow us on socials at Empowered in My Skin. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.